Just to give you guys fair warning, it's an Asmongold focused video, so you're gonna see him and hear him a lot. A lot of you guys tell me you get jump scares. You need a jump scare warning. Here's your jump scare warning. Here's your content warning. Okay. Trigger warning: Asmongold voice and face. This is Noah Sampson's Asmongold's terrorist propaganda video, which I'm sure will not have anyone in the comment section being gross or mean, and this will be perfectly nuanced to the point where no one will be offended.
Absolutely picking a side. Like, if I have to pick, like, I would pick Israel over Iran every day of the week. Absolutely. Like, it's not even a question. Like, I know that people have like this Israel fatigue and they hate Israel, but yeah, I would pick Israel every day of the week. And anybody who doesn't want you to do that is probably listening to terrorist propaganda. That's the reason why.
I automatically love the fact that, again, I think this is still a blower from Stavros's little discussion about him, but the fact that now he just says, "You think I'm dirty? I'm gonna change my shirt," and then just keep wearing the same shirt for like a month straight. Insane. Also, just straight up like saying people are listening to terrorist propaganda while unironically being in full support of Israel is a level of just cognitive dissonance I wouldn't wish for my worst enemies, man.
Absolutely.
This is Asmongold. Asmongold is one of the most viewed live streamers in the world. With a daily viewership of over 5 million viewers, this is roughly 10 times the viewership of CNN. And apparently, Asmongold is concerned with peace in the Middle East. How does he propose to achieve this peace? Well, with bombs.
I think Israel should keep bombing Lebanon because Lebanon has terrorists in it. They have Hezbollah in it, and
this is someone who's so incredibly out of their depth that their reasoning for supporting Israel's terroristic campaign is that Lebanon has terrorists in it. Also, amazing pause job I just did. But Lebanon has terrorists in it. What are you considering terrorism, first and foremost? When is the last time Lebanon did a terrorist attack on America? Because let's be really real, Asmongold doesn't give a shit about foreign countries. I'm sure he couldn't point Lebanon out on a map. Or even Israel. But the fact that he's so just like, yeah, they have terrorists, and that's why Israel should continue to bomb them. Because that is the response. Hey, we have terrorists in America. We have a lot of domestic terrorists. Are you saying we should just start carpet bombing random states in the country, Asmongold? Would that appease your need to stomp out the terrorist?
like, again, they're firing rockets into Israel. They are. They're firing rockets into. I hope he kills every single fucking one of the Hezbollah members in Lebanon. Every single fucking.
Just so you guys know, Hezbollah is their government. This should be like if someone said, I hope everyone in Washington, D.C. gets fucking murdered. That's his understanding of what's happening over there.
One. And only then will the people there have peace.
On his June 14th live stream, Asmongold advocated for the continuation of Israel's bombing campaign in Lebanon. And in the same stream, he also advocated against a peace agreement to end the US and Israel's war on Iran.
If you make peace with Iran, they no longer consider us a mortal enemy. Why is that not an acceptable outcome to you? Because they're not. They're just going to lie to you. They're ideologically captured. They're religious zealots, and they can't be allowed to, they can't be allowed to be trusted. They've already broken too many deals before. They've lied too many times.
Yeah, because America hasn't done. Also, do you like his counter to this person's actual reasonable conclusion?
Religious zealots, not
continuation
or consider us a mortal enemy.
And the US and Israel's war on Iran.
If you make peace with Iran, they no longer consider us a mortal enemy. Why is that not an acceptable outcome to you?
It's like, why is that not an acceptable outcome to you? And his response is, because they lie. That was the question. The question is, assuming that obviously they're being truthful, telling the truth, why is that not a preferable outcome? He doesn't have an answer to that. So it's just because they won't. Hey, what would you do if I gave you $1 million? Oh, nothing, because you won't. Yeah, but what if I gave you $1 million? What would you do? I wouldn't do anything because you wouldn't give it to me. Like that's the level. That is his level of thought process right there. And of course, he cannot see that whether by intention or because he's truly that politically unaware, that what he's talking about is describing why people are having a difficult time making deals with America right now, because they can't trust America. When Iran and America were reaching a peace agreement, Israel was attacking. And they're like, all right, well, fuck it. You're attacking Lebanon still when we told you to keep your attack dog in check so we could work on, reopening, when they were closed, the Strait of Hormuz. And they're just like, okay, we'll do that. And then Israel attacked anyways. Like, he's describing what's happening on the American-Israeli relationship side. But because he is full-throatedly in support of Donald Trump and will get on his knees for Bibi, he can't make that kind of connection. So it's just projection from here on out.
Because they're not. They're just going to lie to you. They're ideologically capped.
Did the VTuber called Camilla, whose whole family died in Lebanon for his bombing? Yeah, I heard about that. Which is, again, why this is like barbaric shit to say. This is a person who has no skin in the game. This is why he feels so comfortable talking about other people. Asmongold has no skin in this game because he doesn't give a fuck about other people. He's not well traveled. He's not well studied. He doesn't know shit about what's happening in the Middle East or even parts of his own country. He's just extremely uneducated. That's why all of his takes are just some of the most brain dead. Like, this is the same level of brain rot as, like, replace Rockstar with Israel, and this is where Asmongold is.
Sure, they're religious zealots and they can't be allowed to, like...
They're religious zealots. Again, there are American Christian Zionists who are so bloodthirsty, who are so deeply entrenched in Christian Zionism because they believe that if Israel is allowed to commit unprecedented genocide, this will bring about the return of Jesus Christ. That's zealotry, mind you, that they are in full support of genocide. Texas has made it a law starting 2030 that you have to teach the Bible in school. That is religious zealotry right then and there. Texas is the state he fucking lives in.
They can't be allowed to be trusted. They've already broken too many deals before. They've lied too many times.
Asmongold's argument for the continued bombing of Iran and Lebanon is that in order to achieve peace, we must get rid of the terrorists. Hezbollah is a terrorist group, so he says, and Iran funds them, ergo, we have to bomb the terrorists.
Can you tell your argument why you consider them terrorists? Because they fund people that attack and kill civilians on purpose and target civilians to kill them?
Oh, is there a country in the world right now that America funds that specifically targets civilians and like journalists to kill them? Is there a country that America is right now currently funding? Also, by this notion, the American military is also a terrorist operation being funded by our government.
In order to achieve political goals. Groups like Hezbollah and the Houthis and Hamas. It's that simple.
There are a few issues with his analysis here, though. First off, I mean, I'm sure Noah can get to this, but first off, the fact that he mentions Hamas and the Houthis and doesn't even try to even briefly explain how they got to this point, which, spoiler alert, it's because of fucking Israel and the United States. These are basically rebel forces. They are trying to fight against a genocide and U.S. imperialism. Is the premise. Asmongold repeats the IDF's line that they are targeting Hezbollah in Lebanon, but that's not what's actually happening. What the evidence shows is that targeting Hezbollah is just a pretext, one that Israel uses to blow up everything in sight and mass murder civilians. Israel is targeting men, women, children, journalists, healthcare workers, hospitals, ambulances. They are leveling entire cities. They're also routinely using white phosphorus indiscriminately and in
which is a fucking war crime.
In civilian residential areas. In the first month of attacks on Lebanon alone, they used it to burn over 10,000 acres of forests and farmland. These are all war crimes. In just the past 4 months, Israel has killed nearly 4,000 people in Lebanon, including hundreds of children and healthcare workers. On average, Israeli forces have killed more than one child every day since April. On October 3rd, 2024, Israel bombed a medical center in Beirut, killing 9 people and injuring 14. 7 of those killed killed were members of the medical staff. That same month, Israel destroyed a significant portion of an entire city, Tyre, one of the oldest cities in the world. They damaged over 400 apartments, completely destroyed several buildings, and demolished a number of ancient historical sites. On March 12, 2026, Israel bombed a beachside tent encampment housing people that they had displaced from their bombings, killing 8 and wounding.
Like, it's insane for any rational human being to try to defend any of this. Like, you have to be some bloodthirsty warhawk to see this level of damage. The fact that they've targeted children multiple times. I'm not sure if Noah's even gonna mention that fact. Well, he did, but like mention how like they were shooting people who were trying to get resources. They had a bunch of resources that finally got put through. They put them in a center and they basically Squid Gamed it, where they're like, here's, you have until the sound of this to clear it out, or they're going to shoot you. You have an indiscriminate amount of time to get as many resources as you possibly can, because you do not know when's the next time you're going to be allowed resources. And if you are there after this predetermined indiscriminate time, they will shoot you in the fucking head. This is the sort of barbaric activity the IDF, by the behest of Israel, commits against Palestinians, commits against Lebanese, Iranians, anyone who they deem to be an enemy in the Middle East. This is the level of depravity they go through. And you have dumb fucks like Asmongold who say this is good. He would basically say all these people are terrorists. Students, doctors, civilians, all terrorists. But still, they're doing this so they can have peace in the Middle East because there's terrorists there.
31. The strike came in the middle of the night, and it was a double tap strike. The first missile landed and killed 3 people near the beach, and when people approached to help the victims, the second missile landed. No evacuation warning was issued. This was in a safe zone. In all of these examples of mass civilian death and destruction, what did Israel say it was doing? It said it was targeting Hezbollah. This is their pretext, and Asmongold is repeating.
Which is insane, because you guys are probably also aware how they used pagers to attack people in Hezbollah. So it's like, when they can be precise, they've demonstrated they have the ability to do so, which means all of this level of destruction is by design. These aren't people getting caught in a crossfire. This is by design. They want to completely eradicate, because they are a genocidal group, all right? The IDF and the current Israeli administration are genocidal maniacs. They only believe in the complete eradication of ethnic groups, of Muslims, period. That is it. There is no gray area here.
It uncritically. And the same is true of Asmongold's endorsement of Israel's stated goal of eliminating Hamas. That may be what Israel says it's doing, but in reality, what Israel's actually doing in Gaza is killing entire families by leveling apartment blocks, killing toddlers with machine guns, shooting babies in the head with snipers, while they're being breastfed by their mothers alone in tents in broad daylight. The vast majority of the people that Israel has killed in Gaza have been civilians. That is the conclusion of every independent expert. The only ones still denying it in 2026 are Israel and the United States. And the content creators online that defend them for some reason still. And as for Asmongold's claim about the United States, the same goes for them. Firstly, because they supply the vast majority of the weapons that Israel has used.
Okay, so he did hit the point that I talked about, right? And Asmongold wants to say that Israel is fine. Yes, because Asmongold, beyond being a irredeemable piece of shit, has no convictions. He's just an amoral person who just looks at what's either the most shocking shit to say, or will just be like, stumble ass backwards into like a somewhat human take. I saw a post talking about how he is for people to have SNAP benefits, which I'm like, he's insane. Because at one token, you're saying, yeah, human beings should have some dignity. Let them have a cupcake. I don't care if they're eating lobster and they're on SNAP. But at the same token, going like, Palestinians deserve to be eradicated. Immigrants from war-torn nations that we've either directly attacked or helped to fund attacks on them coming here are awful and terrible and want to change your way of life. Like he just stumbles into like sometimes when he's a fucking human being goes, yeah, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't be so hard on people who are at such a rough point in their life where they need government assistance. And maybe we shouldn't give a shit if they want to get a fucking cookie, because human life is more than just what kind of monetary value you can put out. And there is inherent value to being a human. And part of being human is having experiences. Maybe we shouldn't have people who are so fucking miserable all the time. But then he'll do this shit. I see many Israeli Zionists in YouTube streams. There's people straight acting like Nazis have social media. Oh, no, they're worse than Nazis. They are. They are. I do not. I'll tell you straight up. No, people like Israel has a right to exist. No, it doesn't. People have rights to exist. States don't. Nations don't. That's fucking stupid. And furthermore, is Israel the only one that has a right to exist? Are they the only nation right to exist? Because they seem to be attacking everyone in the Middle East right now. They're starting like 5 different wars over their right to exist. But no one else was impeding on them. Like, that's what's crazy to me. They're bloodthirsty. They are supported by the West. They are bloodthirsty fucking creatures. And by creatures, I'm talking about the Israeli government and the IDF. And anyone who supports Zionism and this genocide, I think you're subhuman. I do. And on top of that, you are seeing all of this destruction, and your takeaway is, but Israel deserves to defend itself. This is what you call defense? Starting wars? But if anyone else were to do what they do, oh, this is the crime against humanity. Israel has been killing first responders, children, journalists. There was that one journalist that they fucking flattened. And then Israelis created a pancake. Yeah, she was a peace activist and she was crushed to death in Rafah. And then there are people who were literally like eating food like named after her, like a pancake. Throwing a pancake party. Printed images on her and pancake circulate frequently on social media and informs legislation rooted in the early counter-terrorism Popeyes activists like Ali Abunuma, probably butcher that name, which claims that soldiers used the joke to celebrate the incidents and the culture of dehumanization. And we have seen what Israeli soldiers have done. We have seen the barbaric shit they've engaged in after they've completely annihilated families, how they've completely destroyed homes, and they rifle through their items and put on their dresses and make fun of them. I had a TikTok a while ago where I was talking about how there was a woman who was trying to act like nothing was wrong, and she was like, I'm gonna bake these cakes or whatever for the fucking IDF as they work so hard. I'm like, work so hard to do what? Kill children? Fuck out of here.
Used to commit its genocide, but they also do murderous bombing campaigns themselves. In the first week of the war, the United States blew up an Iranian elementary school, killing 156 people, 120 of whom were children. 120 little girls and boys murdered by the United States in a war that they started. Asmongold has apparently consulted the history books and feels vindicated by them.
Every single page of the history book proves me right.
But I'm not sure which ones he read, because if you look back at any point, you will find the United States committing these same kinds of atrocities across the globe for their wars of aggression. The other issue with Asmongold's analysis here is the presence of that word terrorism. What makes someone a terrorist? Well, for Asmongold, terrorism is defined as...
Terrorism is defined as, are you Muslim? Do you look Muslim? Then you're a terrorist.
As the use of violence against civilians for political goals.
Because they fund people that attack and kill civilians on purpose and target civilians to kill them in order to achieve political goals.
A part of his definition for terrorism is the inability to abide by the terms of agreements.
If we are signing a deal with the Islamic Republic of Iran, we are just delaying this war until later on. That's what I think.
See, again, that is someone who's just Islamophobic, who thinks that all Muslims are barbaric religious zealots that are hell-bent on destroying the United States. And if he were to look at history, he would see that, no, actually, we're the ones who fuck with them the most. We have meddled. He knows nothing about United States foreign policy or Western intervention, but basically, throughout our history as a superpower, we've maintained this dominance by subjugating multiple regions in Latin American countries and in the Middle East, all right, for their resources. We have staged so many goddamn coups in these regions. We are major driving force into why certain regions in the world are completely unstable. Middle East being one of them. And so for him to be like, oh, well, you know, I looked at history. Clearly you fucking didn't. No. Someone following the faith of Islam does not make them a goddamn terrorist or make them incapable of following a fucking promise.
I think that as long as these people are in power, you are going to, like, they're not going to stop trying to build a nuclear bomb. They're like, I think that this is.
They did actually stop building nukes. And you know what happened? Trump. Like, Jesus Christ.
What's likely to happen. They will just blow something else up in a week. They will. It's going to keep happening.
But, and I know this reveal is probably so surprising, Israel and the United States do both of those things all the time. They do it by killing civilians, as we just looked at, and funding and arming and supporting governments that mass murder civilians in campaigns of genocide. But they also do it by breaking ceasefires and peace agreements. The most recent example is, you know, starting a war. They started the war and lost, mind you. That's Wikipedia official now. They attacked Iran first, unprovoked. There wasn't a war, and then there was, because the United States and Israel attacked. And the whole reason there's even a need for ceasefire negotiations in the first place is because they attacked. Another important example here is the Iran nuclear deal. Despite observations from independent experts that Iran was abiding by the terms of the agreement, it was the United States who randomly decided to pull out and then proceed.
Like this is, I would thank you, Noah, for showing the. This is what I just literally just said. They were not building nukes. That was already a thing. And then 2020, who was president?
To administer brutal sanctions on Iran, crushing the country's economy in a move that was widely understood to be an unprovoked act of aggression that was condemned by governments across the globe. And of course, the same is true of Israel. They violated ceasefires in Gaza and Lebanon now tens of thousands of times, further displacing millions of people, destroying.
Yeah, and then fucking Biden was like, Rafah's the red line, Rafah's the red line, Rafah's the red line. And then they fucked up Rafah and did nothing.
Entire towns, and starving, kidnapping, torturing, and brutalizing the population. Asmongold cites Hezbollah rocket fire as a justification for Israel's bombing in Lebanon.
They're firing rockets into Israel.
But he neglects to mention any of these violations. In Lebanon, in the same time frame of the ceasefire, where Israel committed literally 10,000 violations, Hezbollah fired a total of 4 rockets. But for him, that's a valid reason to promote the IDF's destruction of a sovereign country. So now, okay, of course, there's a double standard, right? By Asmongold's definition of terrorism, which is killing civilians and breaking deals, both the United States and Israel are terrorists. Asmongold acknowledges this directly in response to a viewer in his chat that brings up Israel.
Oh, that's surprising.
Israel's on our side. Iran's not. It's that simple.
Well, there you go. There it is. There it is. Not to diminish it, but this is, like I said earlier, this is the same kind of brain rot you're seeing with people talking about fucking GTA. What's the difference in their practices? Oh, well, I like them. They're on my team. That's the difference. It's no longer predatory to lock content on a single player game on a disc that you bought. It's not terrorism if my team does it. It's only terrorism if the team I don't like does it. Then it's that simple. All these acts are permissible. Like I said before, he has no fucking convictions. He has no morals. He's amoral. He just, whatever Trump wants, Asmongold does. That's it. That's fucking it. So I find it hilarious when people try to paint him, especially in like opposition to Hassan, as like Hassan is this socialite, fucking rich kid who LARPs as an activist and is all rich and cares about money and doesn't actually care about people, when he's banned from going to the UK because he's been so adamant about Israel's genocide to anyone who will listen. And you have Asmongold who wears the same clothes every day and they're like, oh, well, he's a regular guy. And he's telling you terrorism is bad, but not when the United States and our allies do it. He actually fucking loves it when they kill civilians.
And we do that to them too. But it's very simple. It's our side versus the other side. I don't want them doing that.
He acknowledges it.
He doesn't want them doing it. He wants it to be unfair. Rockstar can do this, but Ubisoft can't. United States and Israel can murder people indiscriminately and do terrorist attacks. But I don't want Israel doing that to other. I don't want Iran or Lebanon doing that to other people, because that's wrong. Because they're not on our side, you see. Because they're brown, you see, because they're Muslims. That like all that shit he talks about how they're religious zealots and all these things that are applied to America and Israel. He's just like, no. No. TTV, I'm about to vote for the first time in a state election. Hell yeah. Get out there and fucking vote.
Further, while discussing the United States.
To the extent that there is even a hint of it, even a slight, tiny, some like little resistance army in Africa, immediately bomb the shit out of them. Shut them down, keep it done. Anybody that's chanting death to America, anybody that's going around talking about how they're going to attack the United States.
Again, lives in strictly online echo chamber where he thinks these takes are fucking spitting and they're hitting hard. Mind you, this is the same dumbass who spent like 7 hours talking about the roving gangs of rapists in the UK using numbers that are not verifiable, but because they were Muslims and Pakistanis, he was like, yeah, this is true. These people are awful monsters. Suddenly cares about what's happening in other countries. But then if there was a resistance to that, do you think he would be mad that people are killing people there? No. Oh, if there's a resistance in a small place in Africa, bomb the shit out of them. Resistance to what? What are they resisting? You just said America does terroristic shit to them. So them resisting terrorism is bad to you. Like,
or anything else, totally shut them down.
And yet, he still supports them. He still directly advocates for their violence. He gets mad at viewers that point out the contradiction regarding Israel.
APAC funded? Right. Yeah, and, again, like, it's Israel. Israel's so bad. These people are trying to blow you up too, bro. Like, that's it. Do you think Israel's interest is honest with America? I'm not interested in your misdirection towards Israel.
How dare you? How dare you try to get me to talk bad about Israel? Netanyahu, my God, I would never talk about Israel. How dare you try to deceive me talking about Israel? Like, holy shit, dude. Like, he's got to be APAC funded. He's got to be funded by APAC. He's got to be funded by APAC, bro. Like, he's got to be. He's got to be. There's no way. There's no fucking way you'd be. How dare you try to misdirect me about Israel? Like, bro, like, you think he knows that most of these organizations he calls terrorists were literally funded by the United States government? Like, especially the Taliban. APAC-mon. He's gotta be funded. He's gotta be funded, dog.
I have no interest in that. This is just terrorist subversion.
He even argues that
Terrorist
anti-American
subversion.
slogans should be punishable by extrajudicial drone execution, regardless of their validity.
I don't give a fuck what reasoning they have. I don't care what their reasoning is. I don't care what they think is right. It doesn't matter to me. Like, the only thing that I care about is neutralizing that threat.
Yeah, he's so fucking just pathetic. Like, I can't even be like mad anymore. Like, he's just such a spineless, like, empty person. You know what I mean? Like all like the rage I have is just evaporating. Cause it's like, what is this human being? Like it's a person who is so desperate to always be relevant, where he wants to say the edgiest things possible. It's like, if you were a rational, functional human being, you see a person like this who wallows in misery, and you're like, look at who cheers for you. The fucking losers. Like, I don't know if you guys saw this, but like, this is like the average Asmongold fan, right? It's just like the saddest, most miserable fucking people. Like, look at this. This was in one of Hassan's streams, but look at this shit. At Zach Raw, did you see the fighter jet that got shot down over Iran? The pilot saw alien drone swarm before ejecting. Pentagon released the info today. I just follow Hassan so I could call him a rapist. In 24 hours, I'm stoked, boys. I'm a father and a U.S. Marine, and I'm so depressed I want to kill myself on Father's Day because my family and child hate me. I hate me, but I'd rather watch Zach and die later. Muslims make it dangerous. Fucking R-word ass cucks. That's it, pussies. Be nice to Muslims so maybe they'll stop raping your kids. Make amazing fucking sense. like feminists ruining defense. Like this is like right here. I'm a father and I'm depressed and I want to kill myself because my family hates me and I hate myself. That's an Asmongold viewer. That's an Asmongold viewer. Like, if you guys remember that video I did where I was talking, well, the video I reacted to, when I was telling you guys how miserable he is and how the people who watch him, he reaches them at their lowest point. That's what I'm talking about. It's like, those are the people who are like, he's based and so cool. He's so awesome. It's like, dog, actually listen to this fucking insane moron.
Is I don't care what they think is right. It doesn't matter to me. Like the only thing that I care about is neutralizing that threat. So whatever gets rid of, like, I don't care. Like, you think that I give a fuck about what their reasoning is or what their justification is? I don't care. You're doing it. Okay, that's the problem.
And why does he do that? Well, the answer is fairly simple. He's just a racist. Fundamentally, he views some groups of people as less worthy of life than others. Terrorism is okay when we do it, but when they even protest that terrorism, they deserve to die.
Why do you think they say death to America? Probably because you attacked them first? Well, damn, that's too bad. I guess we're gonna have to attack them again.
We, Americans, and the Israelis, the inhabitants of our overseas proxy military colony, we have a right to live, and they do not.
And he only says shit like this because God, my pausing is great today. He only says shit like this because none of this touches him. None of this touches him. I guarantee you, if they were like, hey, in Texas, starting fucking July 1st, we're banning DoorDash orders over $10, he'd lose it. He'd talk about how it's a gross overstep of the government to the personal lives of citizens. If they're like, hey, starting next week, we're enforcing mandatory showers, he'd be like, you're attacking my rights as a tax-paying citizen of the great nation of America and the great state of Texas. Like, he would be the first person to be like, oh, wait, hold on, wait, what? No. What? I have to change my shirt at least 2 times a week? You guys couldn't enforce that? You have to make me, I have to shower, I have to wash my hair? You're calling it hygiene laws? Because we're now living in a world we won't be pure for our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ in Texas. Therefore, we must wash our bodies once a week and wash our hair once a week. He'd be like, oh, it's an outrage. But because this shit's happening in other places, like, oh yeah, bomb them. Oh yeah, fucking destroy them. Kill them.
Have human rights, and they do not. We are human, and they are not. To quote Asmongold himself, it's really that simple.
It's that simple.
But for the opponents of racist mass murder, it's not enough to just point to the double standard. Asmongold's position, while racist, is logically consistent because he's a racist. It's also not enough to point out the infinitely disproportionate nature of this violence. The fact that Israel has killed, at minimum, 10,000 times more people than Hamas did on October 7th is irrelevant to supporters of Israel. For them, it can all be explained by Hamas's lack of firepower. If they had the weapons Israel had, they'd do the same. Israel just had to kill tens of thousands of children. Because in a hypothetical I made up in a dream I had, they did the same to us. Israel had to, as Asmongold put it, nip it in the bud.
If you don't kill them, they will kill you. Now, they might not kill you today, but they'll kill you in a year. They'll kill you in 10 years.
This is some shit that is always used to justify what people call like preemptive strikes, right? Where it's, hey, back in the day, slavery, right? You have people who are abolitionists. And one of the arguments against, like, but if we release these slaves, they're going to get revenge. Maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow. They're going to get revenge. How does that quote go? Like, it's like slavery is like grabbing a wolf by the ears or something. Like, you don't want to be in that position which you dare not let it go. Like something along those lines. Same mentality here. It's like, we have been putting you in an awful situation for decades. And now we're too afraid to stop because what if you do that to us? That possibility of you enacting any level of harm on us is so scary that we're going to perpetually enact harm on you. Because what if, you guys? What if we give gay people rights to get married? What if they try to take away my rights as a straight person? What if they're going to marry, blacks and whites can marry, what's next? Men marrying men? Men marrying cats? Am I going to lose the right to do that? That's too scary. These hypotheticals I've made that have no backing in reality, because this works just like how racists are, works under the assumption that everyone is as fucking terrible as you are. Guess what? Black people aren't slaves, well, not in a traditional sense, aren't slaves anymore. Was there a giant race war? Did the blacks and Mexicans team up and kill all white people? Or did we just kind of go about our day and try to build up a life in this country that we helped build? You know who keeps trying to push a race war? White people. You have white nationalists, you have neo-Nazis who try to push a race war continuously. White people are afraid. And the reason why they're afraid as a class is because if anyone were to enact even a sliver of the bullshit they've enacted on people across the planet, they would be immensely inconvenienced. And that's too bad of a future to have. So let's keep doing this. America's operates the same way on a global scale. We have done infinite warfare to multiple cultures across the planet. But if we stop doing that, then what if they do warfare against us? Would that be justified? We don't care about that. We just don't want it happening to us. So even though we made you promise to not do it and you still weren't doing it, what if you were?
To the extent that they have the capacity to, they will use that capacity to harm you. So my goal is...
What happened October 7th to justify all this horrible shit? Nothing. Because the events that happened October 7th didn't just happen October 7th. These were decades in the making.
Always to nip it in the bud, stop it from happening, to even stop it from even beginning to happen.
No, and by the way, the only way to nip something like that in the bud is a genocide. The only way to stop people from, being dissident is to kill all of them and their family and their family's friends and everyone close to them, so no one remembers what happened. That's what Israel's trying to do. They're trying to wipe Palestinians off the fucking map. That is what they're doing. That's how you nip it in the bud. All they're doing is creating more and more and more negative associations with both Israel, and because of their insane idea that being a Zionist automatically makes you like a follower of Judaism. If you criticize Zionism as you're anti-Semitic, all that's doing is creating even more anti-Semitic sentiments. Like the worst things to happen to Jewish people is Netanyahu, is the state of Israel, straight up. That's the worst fucking thing to happen to them. Because they're also committing a fucking Holocaust. They're also doing a genocide. And on top of it, they're trying to say because it happened to us, we have carte blanche to do it to whomever. And it wasn't even like Palestinians were the ones who originally did a Holocaust against Jewish people. Like that's the insane part too. It's not even like a blood feud, like, oh, well, look, the Germans did this to us, so now we're attacking Germans. It's Germans did this to you, so now you're killing Muslims?
And disproportionality are not enough. The only way to get to the bottom of this terrorism quandary is to find the inception point. Where does this all begin? And looking at the historical record, the answer is pretty clear. Before Hezbollah existed, Israel invaded Lebanon, killed tens of thousands of people, the vast majority of whom were women and children, directly facilitated the slaughter and rape of thousands of civilians in the Sabra and Shatila massacre, a massacre the United Nations General Assembly declared an act of genocide. Hezbollah was formed in response to this genocidal invasion, as a group resisting it, fighting to get Israel out of their country. And that's exactly what they did. Before Hamas existed, Israel stole Palestine. Between 1947 and 1949, Zionist forces destroyed some 530 villages, and about 15,000 Palestinians were killed in a series of mass atrocities, including scores of massacres. 750,000 Palestinians, over 80% of the Arab population of what became Israel, were ethnically cleansed. This event, the Nakba, and all of the violence in its wake, this is the inception point. Regardless of the label you use to describe these groups, the moral calculus doesn't change. Resisting invasion, occupation, and genocide through armed struggle is moral and just and legal under international.
100%. And on top of that, that is the shit America fucking idolizes. People love talking about the Revolutionary War. People love talking about, how it started obviously in England. You had like Boxers Rebellion. You had the Boston Tea, all this shit, these acts of rebellion. that led to an independent nation. People love that shit. But now when it's happening, when it's a non-white country doing it, they hate it, because they also hate this shit during the slave rebellion in Haiti. Haiti has been punished unrelentingly since they freed themselves from slavery. Till this day, they're being punished for the simple act of freeing themselves from the shackles of oppression, much like America did from the unfair taxing of the crown. The only difference is that it was white people who freed themselves with the help of the French. But if anyone else does it, well, now you're challenging imperialism. We can't have that.
National law, and it should not be condemned. Your own personal feelings towards the methods are irrelevant. They do not matter, not when you live in the West and not in Palestine, and especially not when those objections are weaponized as the pretext for genocide, which is what Asmongold demonstrates in his video here. So, as I said at the start, Asmongold is one of the most widely viewed live streamers on YouTube. He gets millions of views per day, several times more than any other political live streamers and most news channels. And when these millions of viewers click onto his show, this is what they are greeted with: terrorist propaganda.
Israel should keep bombing Lebanon because Lebanon has terrorists in it. They have Hezbollah in it.
Profoundly ignorant, factually incorrect, and morally demented propaganda for US-Israeli terrorism. I don't know how convincing any of his videos are, arguing that terrorism is okay when we do it because we're the good guys. It's not as compelling to the average person as it might have been 20 years ago. Not when we have access to live footage of the reality of what that terrorism results in every day, and our governments can't.
And that's why recently Asmongold has been saying he has Israel fatigue, right? That he don't talk about Israel, but don't talk about Israel anymore because it's not popular. And he's out of his depth. He's been out of his depth this entire time, which is why most of his responses are just like, oh, well, I just don't care. He gets the slightest bit of pushback from his own echo chamber, his own audience. And his reaction was, yeah, I don't care. Israel does it, well, they're on my team. Like, this is not someone who's intellectually honest.
Can't keep it under wraps. This channel is just a place people can go to have their feelings of racist bloodlust validated. It's a safe space. But if there is anyone watching that wants to actually engage with the facts critically, I would encourage them to consult any of the resources on screen now. That goes for Asmongold too. Read any of the...
Nah, dog, I'll tell you right now, Asmongold hates words on screen. He hates words on screen that give him information that are contrary to his own intuition. He doesn't fucking read. And here's what I always believe. I don't think his viewers take him seriously. His viewers don't take him seriously. He's just like Andy Pants. They have viewership, but the viewers don't take them seriously. The viewers are angry people. They are getting their anger and hatred validated. So that's the feelings that they like. But they're not animated to do anything. That's what I was talking about before when I saw a post on Twitter and Asmongold basically talking about how like I think like probably something about Hassan, because he was talking about Hassan. And I was just like, I'm tired of this fucking moron like talking about these political topics as if he has any sort of idea what he's talking about. He's not motivated to do anything. Like, people call him a political, he's not political. He talks about politics, but he's not political because he has no political knowledge. He has no understanding. He's also barely a fucking gamer too. Like, he's just a guy who played WoW and I guess was decent at it. And because he has an overinflated sense of self, he thinks that carries to everything else, but it doesn't. Like, he has no background in any of this shit. And he doesn't even do the effort to even try to educate himself. Like, I would tell you straight up, I am not the most knowledgeable in like general politics, but I've done research, I look things up, I listen to people who know more than me. Because that's what the learning process is. But he doesn't even do that. He's anti-knowledge. But yet he sits here and acts as if he's some sort of fucking soothsayer, as if he's like, oh, I'm just speaking to the people. He does the same dumbass shit that what's his name, Joe Rogan does. Like, you just have these people who are completely uneducated about the topics they want to find themselves talking about, and then whenever they are challenged on that, they run scared. Like, you saw his own chat was like, dog, what the fuck are you talking about? The America does this, Israel does it. And he had no counter. He had no fucking counter. But then his fans just do the numbers game. It's like looking at Steam charts. Oh, you're jealous because he has more followers and he gets more views than you. No, I'm not. Because he's fucking stupid. Like he's a moron. Obviously so. And he's a racist. Obviously so. Why would anyone be envious of a person like that? A person so miserable that they get on the internet to talk about killing Muslims and justifying it. Here's what happened here. This is what he said, because of course he's talking about Hassan here. But I think this one's Mehdi Hassan.
So everything that he does is going to be in service of terrorism. It's going to be in service of Islamic Muslim terrorism. See, and that's the thing too. He latches onto a buzzword, and that just becomes his defense. Oh, well, this is Islamic Muslim terrorism. You don't have to say Islamic Muslim first off. Well, this is Islamic Muslim terrorism. He's just terrorist. Everything's just terrorism for now. The core and the center of his ideology. All other values, viewpoints, and opinions come out of that ideology, and they all work to serve that ideology. That is the only thing that he will never compromise. He will compromise LGBT rights by supporting the countries that will kill gay people. He will support wealth inequality by glazing China. He will support any form of...
By the way, I didn't mention this in my comment, but that's America. Like, this is, like, again, he's so incapable. He can't even phrase things in a way that won't be applied to him. He will support wealth and he will support lots of LGBT rights by supporting countries that kill gay people. Hey, Israel's killing gay people in Palestine. America has killed gay people and actively kills gay people through their support of both Israel, and basically anytime we bomb other nations, because you don't get to make a bomb that only kills straight people, and within our own country by negligence, like we did in the 80s with the AIDS pandemic. Like, we have done that. And then talk about wealth inequality in a country that just had Elon Musk become a trillionaire. He will support inequality by glazing China. Bitch, you support wealth inequality.
He will support wealth inequality by glazing China. He will support any form of non-democracy, totalitarianism by, again, endorsing China or Cuba.
Cuba and China are not totalitarian. Like, he doesn't even know what the fuck those types of governments are. Our government is closer, as of right now, to totalitarianism, mostly an oligarchy, than China or Cuba,
for example. But the one thing that he will never do is compromise on Islamic terrorism. And that's because it is the one thing that is the center of all of his other beliefs. Every other belief works in...
And he just repeated. Notice how he says this shit here, and he says it again in the beginning.
Ideology, and they all work to serve that ideology.
He's repeating himself because he doesn't have a fucking point. He's too clueless to talk about these topics, which is why I was like, Asmongold doesn't give a fuck about the LGBTQ or literally anyone else other than white supremacists, and it's so fucking tiring seeing this politically illiterate dumbass pretend he has any understanding of the space he occupies. What candidates have you endorsed? All Asmongold does is sit in his smelly fucking room, decide what shirt to wear for the month, and spew hateful rhetoric. Because he has no political acumen, he just opens his mouth and lets Trump put his wrinkly balls in them and gives them a licking. Fucking spineless loser. Notice how he doesn't endorse candidates or phone bank or do anything to get people elected. It's because he doesn't give a fuck about politics, and it's just all easy content for him. That's why he now wants his audience to focus on the culture war. Shit got too real for him. Because that's what happened. He wants people to focus on DEI and gangs making you gay and girls not being hot anymore, and no longer talking about the atrocities that Israel's committed. Because he has no dog in his fight. He doesn't care about people. And I shouldn't have to say this, but you should care about people. You should, in fact, care about people. But Asmongold is a miserable human being who's going to die alone. He has no one in his life who cares about him. If his best friends are fucking Tectone, he has no one in life who cares about him. He has no moral compass. He's unhinged. He's a fucking virulent racist, and all he wants is to spread misery. And he's a fucking dumbass. He knows nothing. He knows nothing. And there are people who will still listen to him because they're also idiots who are miserable. There are also idiots who are miserable. Every fucking metric lets you know this. You look at his audience. You saw that video about talking to Asmongold audience. I did a reaction to that video. I just showed you just a random chat from his, where these people are so fucking miserable that they have to do shit like follow Hassan on Twitter or on Twitch just to be like, I'm gonna call him a rapist. I'm so excited, boys. Like, those are losers. Asmongold is a fucking loser. There's no amount of money or viewership that can convince you, or convince me rather, that he's not a fucking loser. He engages in loser behavior 24/7. He has to constantly talk about some incel shit. He's now suddenly calling women foids left and right. Like, he is a miserable fucking human being. The fact that people even think people are jealous of him is insane to me. Like, dog, I have loved ones. I have people I can go hug. I have people I can talk to. He has fucking nobody. And the fact that his fans think that everyone's jealous of him, I guarantee you, the average Asmongold fan has no one who loves them or who cares about them. Because if they did care about them, they would not be letting them watch them. Like, I noticed in my chat have people who know people who watch Asmongold, and you're struggling, and I get that. But at least you're trying. Wonder you met a Muslim before, T-Spin? Of course I've met Muslims before. I have friends who are Muslim. Because I actually go outside. I actually interact with people on the day-to-day basis. I was just with my friend yesterday watching Supergirl. Like, he doesn't engage. And that's why I find it so hilarious that he'll talk about other creators, fucking whatever, like Hassan. And he'll talk about even like Pokemon, other people. And I'm like, these people go out into the real world. They, at the very least, like, I don't care how you feel about Hassan Piker. I don't. He at least puts his money where his mouth is. Like, he's banned from the UK because he's been adamant about his stance against Israel. He's not allowed certain places. When he goes campaigning or stumping with these other like candidates, they've had their own political stops canceled by why can't I think of the fucking word? By venues. They had a shit canceled by venues because he was with them. And they still fucking won. Right? He's almost low-key a kingmaker, but like, they still fucking won because their policies are important and people appreciate those policies. But on top of that, he's at least putting his money where his mouth is. He's flying out to places to go support these people. He's done political action. He's gone to fucking Cuba, which got him in trouble with the government. He's gone to these places. I'm like, he's at least doing this shit. What is Asmongold doing? What has he ever done for someone else? Hassan was a bad plan before. Hassan's problem is he's fucking too charitable to people, dog. Look how nice he was to Ethan Klein. He has a bad read on people. I will admit that. He has a bad read on fucking people. He gave Ethan infinite charity. He gave Asmongold infinite charity. He gave SQC infinite charity. Look how these fuckers turned out. He gave Aiden Roth infinite charity. Look how they turned out. People are clout goblins. Like, they're not real people. But like, they are awful human beings. Asmongold sucks. I would never want to be him. And then people go, why do you talk about him? No one just told you this guy gets like 5 million views a day, and look at the shit he's putting out. You don't think that's going to affect some people? Like, dog, look at this shit. Every time on this website, I start getting just a lot of attention. Like, I got attention on my fucking Supergirl post, right? And I was like, why is this getting attention? I didn't tag anybody. Anytime I get attention on post, I check to see if I'm on lists. I check to see if I'm on lists. And sure enough, I was on this list. You want to know why I got on these lists? Because I dare to criticize the likes of Asmongold. So all of his little fucking dick writers put you on lists. So every once in a while, I get put on these kinds of lists. And that's just something I have to deal with all the time. So you want to know why I talk about him and other grifters and other races on the online space? Because they will do this to people. And I can handle it. But there are some people who can't. There are some people who are fucking taking their lives because of the insane amount of hate they get for wanting to be treated like a fucking human being, for not wanting to be ostracized from communities just for the color of their skin or their sexuality or their religious belief. And as a human being with a fucking conscience, I will not stand for that at all. I do not give a fuck if he has 1 billion followers, because I see who they are. Most of them don't go outside. Most of them are fucking losers. They're shut-ins. They're angry people, and they hate the fact that people like me even exist. Because I can go through all the bullshit being a black person in this country, fucking planet, but in this country, and still have loved ones, and still have hobbies, and still come here every fucking week and do this shit. They want to scare people away. They want to be able to say, yeah, kill all Muslims. But then the minute you say like white people are crazy, whoa, you can't just put all in the same category. That's not chill. That's not cool.